to the safari. Your boy is actually on the very bumper. Look.
I can speak it to the ears. For anybody hear my music, is anybody out there? Mom and pop is tripping, and like you need to move out. The police is too much. Well, I'm like, fuck, mom, I'm with the Africa. The American dream, a lot harder than it seems. Brothers banging the blocks, sisters punching the clocks. Children's raising themselves, so they raising up hell. Who is created equal? God. I do it for my people. Tell me, who is God? Cause in my mind, it's all of y'all.
Safari right now. We're at the Cougar National Park. See the elephants. Close as you wanna be.
Understand where we landed. Pack the motherland. Then I came back with the master plan. While these scared motherfuckers run the church, we run from the cops and shoot the son to the dirt. Suffering is suffering, pain is pain. Tears are fears on the rainy day. A white man suffering, a black man pain. Sometimes I question, is it all the same? I can speak it to the ears. Will anybody hear my music? Is anybody out there? Mom and pops is tripping, and like you need to move out. The police is too much. Well, I'm like, fuck, mom, I'm with the Africa.
All aboard! It is time to hop aboard my spaceship, because you are now tuned in to what is the Matrix TV. And let's get it started, y'all, with a special guest of mine, Khalil the Analyzer.
Peace and love to the family. We are on the spaceship official Jason the Master Elm Street Williams TV, baby. You know what I'm saying? Liberating that mind. You know what I'm saying? That is the Matrix.
So
peace and love.
So tell us a little bit about yourself real quick before we get into it, brother.
Yo, peace. Originally from Chi-Town, you know what I'm saying? Came over on South Side, you know, Cali. I've been in the knowledge, you know, for mad years. I've been elevating. I've been liberating many, you know what I'm saying? Been in the hip hop culture all around globally. Now I'm back up here uplifting my peoples. You know what I'm saying? I got a project, DNA, Gods from Outer Space. You know what I'm saying?
And we're going to get into it.
Yeah,
Gods
no doubt.
So what's the album? Before we get into it, Gods in Outer Space, give us a brief moment of that real quick.
Word, yeah. Gods from Outer Space, you know what I'm saying? This is me and my brother, you know what I'm saying? I went to high school with my brother Drac, you know what I'm saying? Drac the Lunatic. And we've been doing this since the golden era. And we created this project, Gods from Outer Space, the evolution of the double helix. So our projects, it is an evolutionary movement that we have put together. You know,
Now, when you talk about the double helix, we can already get into it. We see the double helix right here with the Dogon tribe. So how do you feel knowing that an African tribe today had knowledge prior to modern day scientists of the Sirius B constellation that coincidentally rotates like the DNA strand?
Woo.
Is that what your album and your music is dedicated to when you talk about conscious hip hop and what your music is into as we start relating it to the show today?
Yeah, most definitely. Mostly my solo projects go into the genetics, you know, the DNA and how it connects with us as a people, but to actually put it on a level where the average person will understand it. You know, it's integrated in the hip hop culture. You know what I'm saying? So the average person can hear it and kind of understand what we say, because we don't want to go over everybody's heads, but we do that, you know, with some of our subject matter. It can. But the Dogon tribe, very, very powerful tribe. Credo Mutwa, Zulu shaman, you know, much respect, you know, to the elder who's in an ancestor plane now. But that elder was actually, I had that elder on one of my albums entitled Truth Seeker, and that's how I started the album, with the elder Credo Mutwa. But for the Dogons to not have the technology that we have in these days and to have knowledge of that constellation, it's just extraordinary. It blows your mind, and it pulls you straight into the extraterrestrial connection. Because how did they achieve that knowledge, that wisdom, that information, when the technology wasn't even present back then, especially in the indigenous areas that they are from, you know, over there, and the lack of tools and the lack of technology. But this just makes the case so much stronger that the ancestors that came and visited these tribes in the past and have taught, they have healed, they have left lessons, and the footprints. As I said in one of my tracks, it was the footprints of the gods.
There you go. So right here, when we talk about the Dogon secret origin in the fish people, what is your knowledge on the Dogon, talking about the Nomos and the extraterrestrials that came and visited them? Because I like to look at modern day religion and how, when we look at the Jesus symbol, for example, the fish symbol, and the Pope, and ancient Samaria, all these religions all reflect extraterrestrial beings or a high priesthood mimicking amphibious beings, giving them information. So right here to the right corner, you guys see the fish symbol, correct? Which deals with the Aquarius age of information, you know? So when we talk about modern day religion and the story of Jesus, we really could talk about an extraterrestrial event as well. And so when we look at the symbols of the cross, the fish, the story of Jesus or Yahshua, they all seem to talk about extraterrestrial events. When we're talking about the Bible, Ezekiel's will, a spacecraft, when people are talking about the God of the Bible coming and hovering over the land, having technology to raise the land, certain beings all throughout the planet coming to teach people. We see a common occurrence, but also today we see stories of mermaids and intelligent beings living under the water. So do you have any knowledge of intelligent fish beings and that being connected to higher knowledge and information that is hidden from the modern day population?
As far as the fish people, if we see the customs of the Dogons and African tribes, you know that these designs are not built by accidents. And speaking of the aquatics, like you had just put out, in a lot of these movies, they get these superheroes and they get these ideas from beings that really did exist from the merging of DNA. And you've seen the mermaid sightings that have been pretty prevalent, but that are casted off as fake or hoax. And these beings that do exist in the depths, you know, from this underwater civilization, you know, that exists. And there was a diver that they had brung up and they spoke about, and he had came down and had contact with other beings and other secrets that existed under the sea, and he was silenced. And look at that. You put up Aquaman, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and they're making statements, they're making subliminal statements in here, which is actually taken, from hieroglyphs, like you bringing it up. The fish, I see it
Yeah,
right there, you know what I'm
those are
saying?
yeah, the Og Dogs, y'all.
Oh,
Anyone listening to this now? Everyone's obsessed with ancient Kemet, Tamaray in Egypt, Osiris, Asar, Nefertiti, Amun-Ra, Amun. You know that's fancy now, but we need to study pre-dynastic Egypt. There's an old kingdom, there's a new kingdom, there's a middle kingdom. When we say pre-dynastic, that means before the dynasties, before the pharaohs. So before that, the beings and the gods, before Osiris and these brothers, were extraterrestrial odd dogs, amphibious beings that were worshipped, that were called the creators or the infinite. Today called the Og Dogs, but to the Cometians, they were called the infinite beings, the creators of the cosmos. And then eventually Amun-Ra, the sun god, took over, because the story will go that these extraterrestrial beings are infinite gods, started going to war with each other. And then the sun god Amun-Ra took over. But like Brother Khalil, the analyzer, was saying, we link up ancient Kemet, Tamaray, Egypt, to the stories of when we talk about ourselves as being reptilian, the reptiles that they fear, the serpent people that they fear, because we understand that before the Europeans came, there were lakes all over, there were lush gardens, there were lush trees all throughout America, and Kemet in Egypt as well. So we have to, when we go back to the future and the past, we can't just apply how Egypt looks today, how Africa looks today, how America looks today. When we go to cities like Riverside, California, and you do the research, up until recently, they created dams. And so those dams are dammed up because there were rivers, multiple rivers running through our cities. So imagine the different fruits and vegetables and life and how our color look. Imagine the trees. So that would mean there would be more canopies, like a rainforest type of environment. So we would be in water more. Coincidentally, all of our civilizations, we start by the water. Then we build mounds and then advance to pyramids. So right here, we see intelligent beings, clearly, right, being depicted prior to humanoid gods. And so when we see this symbol, you see the Ankh in the middle, y'all. You see them holding the Ankh, and you see Brother Credo Mutwa. Everyone look up Credo Mutwa of the Zulu nation, and he speaks of highly advanced extraterrestrial beings coming down in big ships. The same story as the Dogon, same story all throughout the world, in teaching and having sex and mating with Nubian African original people, therefore creating new bloodlines, new beings, new beings, new beings, new beings. So you see pale-skinned Europeans like Michael Tillinger. I visited South Africa and studied with the Zulus, and also went to Adam's Calendar. And you see monuments that are older than, they say, Giza, but also stone structure that are miles long. And for me, they taught us about how they use water to, they said they would have like a big gong, and the water would go, and with the water it would create electricity and hit the bong, bong, and the city would be electrified. So now we're talking about high advanced civilizations using water all throughout the Nile, all throughout the planet. And so when we refer to the Dogon tribe, look to the top left. It says NASA's unexplained files. How does NASA have something explained? And this is the solution, y'all. This is why we speak of this on What is the Matrix TV and the Matrix University, an education system that is already set up for us. I call the ancestors answers because the ancestors have answers. And today we can go visit the Dogon, but thankfully we have the robots helping us communicate more effectively or quicker than we were to a few years ago. So how do you feel about that, Khalil, the analyzer, with the modern day education system that has clearly failed our people versus our own education system that is set out for us, that we can grab today, create our own curriculum, and succeed and build upon the information that is already left for us?
Yeah, well, what you had just stated, I actually feel that there's a suppression of information. So I do see different aspects of the social leaders building an education system, but I cannot foresee them allowing us to get to a certain level without keeping us keeping us down, so we can't bust through that ceiling, which is why the master teacher Malachi York, when he was building that whole city, and just lifting up so many people with knowledge that was just extraordinary and beyond, and then for them to silence the brother, you know what I'm saying? It just and then all our other leaders, that were kind of taken out early, it kind of like it makes you feel some type of way, because you really want the people to be liberated. You want to get a solid system, so our seeds can grow up and grow into the knowledge of self and the knowing and awareness. You know what I'm saying? Like a powerful university like the Matrix, and to have these that exists. And I want everyone to shoot where they can, but you got so much suppression technology and so many devices that the opposition is using to keep information suppressed. So right now, what we're dealing with a great awakening, and a lot of this information and data is coming through downloads from, like you said, the ancestors. You see what I'm saying? So that's the frequency is coming through.
Yes.
So we're already being taught, by solar flares coming off the sun. So we're being taught, by a certain level right now. But I have backed away, to a certain extent, what I'm saying, and it's more, this is more the knowledge, our schools, like right here, as far as going out and going into an institution, what I'm saying, and having a limited amount of misinformation, combined with real information, and just kind of have us going around in circles, playing games instead of having strong information that will be able to allow us to get back into our super forms, to elevate our DNA, to raise our frequencies, to raise the kundalini and the vibration. Because when you have a certain knowledge of self, or when you know what you're fully capable of, being fully awakened, depression goes away, anxiety goes away, the sense of not knowing, actually walking the path, walking your purpose, walking in your purpose is different. And it goes and it ties into the certain dreams and the revelations that you can get when you start ascending on your path, when you gain much more knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, these synchronicities, they'll start coming to you, You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to go off two track because we're talking about, you know, the universities and the learning centers, you know, which they are spread out. You know, it's a lot of revolutionary teachers out there, but we just have to have our own, you know, a strong foundation, you know, that cannot be torn down. And when we build these foundations, we got to be aware. We got to be understanding of what we're building on. Where I'm speaking to you right now, there's dead Indians. You know what I'm saying? There are spirits on in this land, and we were talking about that earlier. You know, that we're occupying space where events had taken place, and so this energy manipulation, you
Yes.
know, is very real right now, because you don't even understand what took place on the land that you're standing on. You know, so much time, you know, that happened in the past.
And let's get to it. You know,
Yeah,
we were talking about answers, you know, and we saw the Kendrick Lamar spaceship debacle. Much love to the spaceship rockers. But what
yeah,
I
much
mean
love.
is that the answers, what are the answers? What is it with
What's
black
up?
people today? What is it with black people today that they're celebrating a halftime show? Do we understand that a few years ago that the NFL was going to go bankrupt? They were going bankrupt until they hired Jay-Z, Dr. Dre, and created the illusionary halftime show again.
Woo.
How much money did so-called the gods, the battery of society, the battery of the matrix make for they? Did we create our own leagues again? Here I have pictures. It's a movie called Soul of the Game, as we are in so-called Black History Month.
Excuse me, toi.
Much love, Lonnie.
Permiso. Excuse me. I just want to say hello. Peace to you guys. Wonderful job up here. I
Peace,
just wanted to
peace,
say
peace.
hello. Step in real quick. Hey, you guys did great. Listen, you were talking about education. I wanted to add something to that before you hop onto your next topic. Is that okay? Okay, thank you. So, okay, look. So we were asking about education. I think that our tribe is going to go back to our original teaching, which is, you know, the cosmos, the teaching of the universe, you know, universal laws. Like, we don't go by the laws of their land, we go by our universal laws. We'll then teach our children, or like you were saying, the brother down that's on the platform, you were saying, like, with the downloads that we're getting, these kids are getting automatic downloads, right? So you got younger kids that can teach us something because they're being born right now with these automatic downloads. And those downloads consist of, you know, the real chemistry and the real geometry. So, you know, we get the watered down version in our education. That's why a lot of our kids are frustrated, because it
Word.
goes against their DNA or their DEA. So when they're in the public school system with the watered down version of the education, they're frustrated and they get labeled ADHD, ADD, you know, whatever else they want to label us, because they don't understand our energy and they don't understand how, you know, how we operate. So yeah, I think the deactivation of these school systems, we freak out. There's people freaking out over it, but in actuality, were they really using that funding for what they said they're using it for? I think it was the what is it called, that the educational program for children that they say are special needs. A lot of those programs that they had in place, they weren't even using those programs for, they weren't using the funding for what they said they were using it for. Those people were taking that money and pocketing it. So a lot of these programs that'll be defunded is actually a good thing. And it gives us an opportunity to unite and come up with our own educational system, like Jason has with the what are those glasses called? I feel like an old lady when I don't know what those
Virtual
glasses called.
reality.
Virtual reality. Thank you. Those virtual reality glasses are what is going to be the next step for us to be able to teach our future everything that they're trying to erase in actuality. So that's just my take on the educational system. But go ahead.
So as we speak about the education system is supposed to provide solutions for our people, correct? How to become better people. But clearly the education system of today does not teach our people enough knowledge to overcome the obstacle of those who colonized us, because it wouldn't make sense for those who stole our land, murdered our people, burnt our books, destroyed our statues, murdering our netarus in nature, to give us enough information to overthrow them or to remember who we are. So yes, Lana, you are correct. This is another opportunity to where you have to look at it through two or different perspectives and angles, to where either, oh no, Donald Trump is destroying the education system. Oh no, Elon Musk is, who cares? That's not our world. Let them destroy each other. But throughout that chaos, it is time for us to use their so-called planned chaos to create our peace, because now it's the opportunity for the solutions. What's a solution while we watch the Super Bowl and create wealth? It's right here, creating our own foundational leagues, our own institutions right here. As we were going to start the show, before our great brother went deep into it, 133.5 million viewers. Do you know how much money that is per second on commercials, all the different clubs, bars, beers, alcohol, food, jerseys, merchandise, gambling, all off of
They went
us?
hard. They went hard with the subliminals.
Kendrick Lamar breaks Michael Jackson's record for most viewed Super Bowl halftime performance by 400,000. Michael Jackson was 133, even though he didn't have the social media and all that. It's still more money generated than Michael, because what's next? What sold out next? The bell bottoms sold out. Is that a black-owned company, or do they own those factories and warehouses, the linen, the fabric, the machines, the distribution? So once again, we made them rich and wealthy. And then to double it up, 413% surge in the Nike DT Max after Kendrick Lamar. 400%? That's insane. So that means that black people spent their money off of a commercial, which is a halftime show, where he doesn't get paid. He's just used, even though it makes him bigger, the brand that he's on, which is still under them. So basically, once again, in the Matrix hologram, you as a god were used to create history. They can use all the video from this from now on forever. As you see, everybody's conscious now, right? Did you notice Facebook?
Everybody is woke.
About it.
Like overnight, just nobody had to go through anything. They just woke up and know everything. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And so that these are the rituals that take place in front of our eyes. And so while black people were first complaining that Lil Wayne wasn't complaining or performing, as if we own the NFL. You just play. You don't own the game. Do you understand how we are being pimped, y'all? This is the importance of having our own education system. And as we learn, when you type in Google Maps, what does it show? Like we were talking about last week, the Much MOOR, the Aboriginal people of the land being recognized by the NFL. That's what everyone should have been talking about. They should have been talking about how the opening of the Super Bowl for the first time recognized the Washita Moors, and Queen Taj Williams created the first Black Indian logo. Now that's a story to talk about. That's something to brag about. That's something to celebrate, because to millions and billions amongst the world, everyone's like, wow, they're recognizing who they are. So that means that enough of them are starting to wake up to where we have to do it. That's why the perspective is here. It's either those who are going to continue in the matrix or those who are getting out. And so when you guys look at the Gulf of America, I love the fact that it's not going to be Mexico. Why? Because it takes us forward to us being the true Americans. Why? Because the Yucatan Peninsula is what? Boom! The pyramids. All you. So the African story of you coming here as a slave ends. We have Queen Califia, the Hollywood tunnels, Disneyland showing you the temples, Belize, the temple of Lamene, looking just like you, the temple of Bonampak, right here in the Yucatan Peninsula, in Chiapas, right across the street from where does that say, Analyzer? New Orleans, what? New Orleans, Louisiana.
Right down there.
Right. So if you guys start using your mind, you will see, okay, the Yucatan Peninsula is full of pyramids all throughout the tip. The Olmecs have statues there that are of Nubian original Moorish people. So it makes sense that the entire Gulf of America would start clicking in people's minds and saying, well, shit, if they built pyramids in the Yucatan and all they got to do is a boat ride away, I'm sure that they did the same thing across the street, across the river. And there we go. Now we're able to link up the pyramids in Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, Texas, all throughout the coast of Florida, which leads us forward to our Moorish heritage. Then when the lands were connected, y'all, which takes us to our true story. Because once we understand the function of the pyramids and that we're water beings, and we start looking at the webs and we learn that this was a water world, what were we before the mixing in? So what knowledge do you have, Khalil, of extraterrestrials and so-called humans mixing together, or us being extraterrestrials? As you see different fish popping up out of the ocean that people haven't seen physically.
There's like several different species of extraterrestrials, but normally when people speak of them, they speak of beings coming outside of this dimension. And now, if you take a deeper look, you could start analyzing the actual Earth, and you can actually analyze insects, because there are insects, there are parasites, and there are things that exist at the bottom of the ocean that have never been seen at all, which are extraterrestrial to the humans. And then you have different insectilians. You know, you have the insects, which are very, very alien. Some of them are, but now a lot of people, when they think of extraterrestrials, you know, the little the gray figures, they come up, but there was information about them being an actual technology are decoys. And I had experiences, you know, with those beings. And this is in the astral projection realm, and this is when you are completely sedated. You cannot move and these beings actually appear next to you. And those that dealt with contact experiences, probably have experiences which are similar, but all of those beings, are connected to what they had seeded here on the planet. Not only what was spliced are the mutations with the human race, because a lot of these came from outside of this realm, and that's what they were saying about the spores from the certain mushrooms coming from outer space into our planet and being fed on underground by these lizards, for thousands of years, and which evolved to a level of intellect, becoming reptilian in nature. So extraterrestrial, the word, they exist and they're around us, but we have to look at the microcosms. We have to go in and we have to look at the microscopics, and we have to take that has to be taken into
Lana speaks on that.
Into knowledge as far as the macrocosms. There are things that we cannot even see, which are aliens, which affect us. There are parasites that go in the human body, alien, which, the whole tribes, just net. You see what I'm saying? So I see the parasite.
Okay, so you guys
Or just even when you
remember,
break down the cells.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Lana's gonna break it down, but you guys remember the movie The Faculty? How the parasite was in the pretty girl, the European girl. No one knew she came in smiling, deceiving. That's how they did it. Because when they came up out of Europe, they were parasitic people. The foods they ate, the diet, all of that, no bathing, all these unsanitary things. So when they came amongst our people, they died of diseases first. Before they murdered us physically, we died of diseases because they were a parasitic people. So that means that they were taken over by parasites. You feel me? And those parasite hosts were in their bodies. And so wherever they go, that parasite must it jumps onto us, and that's what happened. The parasites from the Europeans and the colonizers have jumped into us, and they put it in the chemtrails, the food, and all these other things. And
imagine how many people are controlled.
Parasites. And that's what it is. They take over civilizations. They take over humans. They take over hosts. And that's what's happening, y'all. And Lana can break it down with the parasite, with the microorganism. So as you see right there, but go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, once you understand how powerful these parasites are, you tend to have more compassion for people, because you realize it's not that person, it's the parasite that's taking over that person. So that's why I speak of the food. And so when you talk about the micro kingdom, when you think and break down or study the cell biology, you start to realize that your cells are little versions of you. That's why it's important that we feed ourselves the fruits and the vegetables like living foods, because you're alive. You're not dead, you're alive. So if you're putting things that aren't alive into your body, you're killing your cells, your little itty bitty cells that rely on you every day to decide what it is you're going to do. Are you going to succeed today, or are you going to talk your cells out of succeeding today? You make that decision. That's why it's imperative that we give our cells, our little itty bitty cells, there's millions of them. We got to feed them properly so we can thrive. And then that's how the parasites can't live, because I think I was talking to Jason about this. They vibrate off of a specific frequency. These parasites can't live off of a high vibrating host. Okay, so it's we have to work out. We got to eat right. We got to watch who we're hanging around with. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be able to make those adjustments and use discernment But yeah, just looking at this, the faculty, I don't remember that movie. I do remember the name, but they tell you everything in these movies. You know what I mean? Like, I know like people don't like reference movies a lot, but they're literally telling you everything in the movie,
Yeah.
you
And
know?
that's deep, because what you just said, people are walking mortgage boards, like just literally
Straight up.
you have these cells that are feasting off of this energy, and tied on. When you think about, how he was on the Super Bowl, all these thousands of hosts, you know hosting these microscopic cells, so you have them all together inside of an arena with them
Mm.
playing certain frequencies and amplifying it, because they know the hertz. It's not 432 hertz. It's not 741. It's not 528 hertz frequency. It's not the solfeggio frequency. It's not the Schumann resonance. You see what I'm saying? It's the frequencies that lower the vibration, lower the energy, lower the consciousness, and put them in a place like the movie They Live. Buy, believe, consume, on the biggest screen. So now you have millions of images going in millions of homes on black mirrors, and all the parasites are in agreement. You got HARP technology adding to the illusion, feeding the illusion, and everyone is feeling the same, the same vibration, at once. Let's eat the food, the commercials. Oh, we got to eat this because it's what the parasites want. It's not what they are wanting,
Yep.
from a heart aspect. It's what the parasites want. You see what
Speak
I'm
on
saying?
it,
Hey,
brother.
They gotta
do
keep.
you guys remember? Do you remember that movie? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go
No,
ahead.
no, no. Straight.
No, I love
Do
it,
you
Anna.
remember? Oh, I'm sure you remember the movie that's Men in Black, and I can't remember which one it was, but when he came and he took over that guy, he took over in the very beginning of the movie. He took over as a host, right? And then he went inside there, and the wife was there, and he said, "I want sugar," and she poured a bunch of sugar in a glass, right?
Oh,
So
that's
I
right.
right,
forgot about
so
that.
Yeah.
yeah, so those
Damn.
parasites crave, hold on, they crave sugar. Hence the reason these commercials they push for folks to eat all the bad food, because those parasites are latching onto you, and they don't want you to elevate and go higher. They want you to stay low vibrating. That's why
Mm.
you hang around people that vibrate low. For some reason, you can't shake them. I don't know why Susie always calling me with her drama. You feel me? It's because I'm vibrating on Susie's frequency. But the minute I get some discipline and say, I'm not doing that no more, I'm going to change the way I eat. I'm going to work out. And the reason why you do that is because you got to starve the parasites, because they can't vibrate off of a higher frequency.
Mm.
So yeah,
Oh, and let me just interject real quick, because
sure.
right where you left off, and I'm just going to give just a small example. This was a projection. I had it was a situation where one of the family members were having heart surgery. So I made a strong attempt to astral project. That means to get in a meditative state and control my breathing and project outside of the physical body to the same time that this person was projecting out of their body, because they stopped the heart during a heart surgery for like 6 hours.
Mm.
Now, I had done this. I had did 2 failed attempts, at that same time frame. On the third attempt, I projected outside of the physical body, and I was in there was a containment area. It was a dimension where souls were having surgeries, souls were in accidents, souls were they were being resuscitated, but all of them were in a limbo. And I had authorization to communicate with the family member that I went to go see. Now, when I got in a space where I could communicate with them, they were not aware who they were talking with. The energy within them came out, and this is what she was building on, and it was a shadow figure, and it came up and it said, "I am sorry, I cannot help it." And then it proceeded to attack and feed. It was feeding off of the aura on the body, and it said, "I cannot help it. It's nothing I can do." Same thing that's the cells that's eating people alive, right? There's nothing you can do unless you do a full cleanse, unless you go through the proper channels to get that energy cleansed off you. It's nothing they can do. And then at that moment, a bright divine light came and neutralized that being. You know what I'm saying? And once again, for those that don't understand, this is an astral projection. You most likely do it unconsciously when you go to sleep, but there are different levels: alpha, beta, theta, and delta. Different levels of getting to that level. Theta is a daydream state. That's when you're in and out of consciousness, and that's when it's most easy to access those realms. So this is a detachment from the host. This is a physical host, and then we're talking about the etheric, the spirit body, the etheric body, and like Brother Elm Street has Egyptian, the energy, the energy and the ancient ways for healing. There's ancient ways from detaching from the host, and ancient to cleanse your energy. You see a lot of martial artists, you see the chi, you're moving the chi, your chi guang, the chi gong.
Yes.
You're raising the prana, you're strengthening the chakras, everything is being activated. The more wisdom and understanding that you get. You see what I'm saying? So that is just an example of one of my thousands of projections into the higher state of awareness.
And are you able to grab information? Because it seems as if we're dealing with a group of people who have to use the robotic method to garner information through AI, through manipulation, through FBI, CIA with the TikTok and things like that. But we seem to be able to stand under the sun, do certain yoga positions, we eat certain foods, and we start vibrating and creating on a different frequency that no one else can. And so for me, that's where it lies. The new world for us is when we are able to get rid of these parasites, because both of you are correct. I'm trying my best to get better and coming more aware of the parasites and not be in denial. So it's as if our ancestors already knew that these parasites were here, because they talk about them even in ancient Kemet. The parasites, like I always say, Stargate SG1, the Gual. I also want to study the jars of Kemet as well, because I learned about different rulers who might have been taken over by these so-called parasites in ancient times. And what if these parasites take over, like I said, hosts throughout civilization? What if this isn't the first time that this is happening? And that's why we had to create different technology like this. Why would our ancestors have to create healing sound frequencies unless that it had already happened? And so that's what we're doing right now. You see a lot of us getting into sound healing, whether it's sound bowls, herbs, eating a certain way, because our ancestors were aware of these parasites. So it's as if it's not a new thing, which is great that our ancestors left us clues. But once again,
brother, at the same time, the picture that you had if you look at it, that picture resembles a spine, and it resembles Kundalini rising. And you always see energy rising. What is it with these coils? How come when you make an ankh, you have to use coil? You have to use copper. Why did Nikola Tesla talk about the coils? You see what I'm saying? Because the energy, how it's moving a certain way, and you could tell that these ancestors and pharaohs ascended to certain levels utilizing this divine technology.
Exactly. And
and
go ahead,
anything holding on,
photons.
anything holding on to it. So that's what the parasites are for, to keep down, so you can't ascend.
Exactly. And that's the story for me, what I learned studying Jesus, Yeshua, going to Notre Dame and connecting it in high school. And I went on my journey. I said, well, this brother did this. So I went to Egypt. I went to Africa. I did all these things. And then it clicked. I said, well, the teachings say that I am God, right? And that certain methods you too can ascend. And then I just started connecting the dots. I said, that's what they're trying to do. If you can teach a population, especially us as original people, that only one person can ascend, that only one person is the Son of God, then it strips you from wanting to take that journey of ascension, of knowledge of self, which is destabilizing your photons, neurons, and electrons, which we're made of frequency, and then ascending to a higher frequency, a plane of existence where throughout all civilizations, they say it exists, and they call it the heavens, Orion's belt, to where it goes to where we're talking about originally, these places that they hide from us, where I feel is the center of our minds, like Atlantis. We are the people of Atlantis. And so now, the further we go back in our past, we find that we are advanced. So now it's time to start plugging in when we look to our past, not as slaves, but as, and I know people get spooked by the word gods and pharaohs, but masters of the universe, masters of our bodies. And then imagine when we are operating on our highest mind and frequencies. What type of cities did we build? And clearly someone destroyed our cities. Someone clearly does not and did not want us to find out this information. And if you look in Atlantis, right here, you guys, it's a Disney. So I tell you, take these movies serious, because it's hard for you brothers to get a record deal. It's hard for you to get a record deal. And if you get a record deal, it's going to have to be over $1 million, and you're going to have to pay a person who doesn't look like you back. And you hear about the stories about the industry. So if someone's allowed to tell a story of Atlantis and get $100 million investment to do it, you should watch the movie. And who do you see in the back? You see the brother, and you see the nerd, what the scientist. And eventually they find that there is and was an advanced civilization called Atlantis. And that's when, once again, whether it's the Gulf of Mexico and all these places, you find us. And that's where the education system lies. That's what is the matrix. That's outside of the matrix, because we're inside the hologram, but they create matrices like a society. But there's other worlds outside of this world that they teach us about. And that's also ascension, not just in the so-called invisible realm, but other land masses where advanced beings exist.
And just how a brother said right there, I was just in one of the classes. I could verify what the brother just said. There are schools going on right now in higher dimensional states of awareness. And when we get the power to travel, when we get the power to strengthen these light bodies with diet, with elevated knowledge, with raising our consciousness, we will ascend up and experience these other classes, because we'll be able to sustain a higher level vibration. You know, what is the Matrix is an amazing experience. But what is gonna happen when Brother Jason starts doing classes that's gonna be in the 5th dimension, the 9th, the 8th dimension?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the only way you can access it is be able to project out of the body. You see, which will be taught, you know, the knowledge and the information on doing that. It is accessible, but it requires great discipline.
Correct.
You know,
Often people will
What
ask
is your
that.
IG called? Self-discipline.
Huh?
Your IG
Wait,
banner
I'm sorry,
is
what did you say?
analyzer was
Oh, well,
speaking on
I changed it
self-discipline.
to Lana's.
Okay. But still, speak
Absolutely.
on
Absolutely.
discipline. You have great discipline with your health, as I am trying to get better. Brother Robert Ivy, this brother, I look up to this brother. I haven't met him in person, but we probably astral project and build. You know, this brother Robert Ivy, he lifts weights with his wife and his significant other, and they are in shape. So when I look at him, he posts pictures of fruit where he's at, you know, and so it's inspiring, you know. So go ahead. So clearly he has discipline to have a body like that, and then I see that he eats healthy. And so once again, in order to tap into these realms, because he's been to Egypt, Brother Robert Ivy, and so even here you see the ships of the gods appearing like wormholes and stargates, just like Brother Khalil the Analyzer was saying. And we use the pyramid to power up our bodies to be able to go through wormholes physically, not just on a movie weirdo aspect, but scientifically. So this is when it gets to, once again, our education system and having the discipline to know that our people have been colonized. Our people have been assimilated. We have to remember that our ancestors were murdered, their libraries burnt. So our people are tap dancing and having fun, but they're being led to the slaughterhouse. We're not being taught this every day. They don't show you this on the news, you know. So you guys go ahead with the self-discipline as I listen.
No, I was just going to say self-discipline can't be taught. It's a mindset. And so it starts with thought. It starts with writing and jotting down what it is you want, and then putting a picture in front, whatever it takes. But it's every single day, and it starts with self. I can't make anyone do anything. The only thing I can do is do me and keep doing it. And someone may see it and say, you know what, I want to do that too. So I just have to set an example. But for me, mine came from, I told you my experience. I saw Anubis come from the ground up in my room. And ever since then, that was 3 years ago. I stopped eating meat, cold turkey. I stopped eating beef. I stopped eating all meat, cold turkey. And that was 3 years ago. And then I had an amazing mentor named Kelly. And she was older than me, but she juiced. And she kept telling me juice, juice, juice. And I'm like, all right. So I bought a juicer. And then I went and bought a whole bunch of fruits and vegetables. And I started just juicing all of it, right? And then I was like, this is nasty. So then it took time. And I said, get up and do it. But it's self-talk, because you know why? My cells wait for me to tell them what to do, not letting those parasites control me. It's me telling my cells what to do, and every single day doing just that. You feel me? So not making any excuses. So Jojo said, go to the gym. Jojo, if you're listening, I've been going to the gym every day. You said go, so I'm going. You feel me? I'm not making excuses. I could have. I went to the gym, boxing, 7:00. I could have made an excuse, right, Jason? I could have said, no, I'm tired. It's raining outside. No excuses. And so when you keep going and you don't stop, eventually your cells become stronger. And now you tell your cells what to do instead of allowing the food that they give to us, that they inject with all these parasites. That's what's telling most of y'all what to do. But it's up to
Brother,
you.
Go ahead.
we do these things not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
Mm.
And before I say anything else, did you hear the queen say Anubis came out of the ground? Stop the show. Am I the only one that is blown? I can't even talk, brother. You know what I'm saying? Came out of the ground in the room. And it's a reason. It is a reason for that, bro. It's royalty. It's royalty in this bill. They don't come for anyone. You see what I'm saying? So give thanks,
Wow.
give thanks for that revelation. That was very, very mind-blowing. You know what I mean? You gotta
I
And
got goosebumps
Anubis,
right now
basically, that
everywhere.
was her waking. And you see this hieroglyph, or
yes.
what we call papyrus. To the left, Anubis awakening the dead. So that was a sign of her saying, "I'm coming to wake you up from the dead." Here you go.
And so peep this. So there's downloads, uploads. I've always had them ever
Serious
since I was a
dogs.
kid, but I've been shunned by Christianity. I was shunned by Christianity as a young age, right? Whatever. We all go through it, but it was for a reason. So Jason one day hits me up and he says, you need to start citing the great master, Dr. Malachi Z. York. And I was like, who? He's like, you don't know who Dr. Malachi Z. York is? And I said, well, I've heard his name, but as a Christian, I couldn't listen to any of that. I wasn't allowed to.
Right.
I just heard his name. I didn't know what he stood for, anything, right? And so one day, recently, I listened to him and I cried. I was like, oh my God. I said, I don't know if he's been sending me messages, but I never knew half the stuff that would come out my mouth was stuff that he was saying.
Yeah,
that's because, like I was speaking of earlier, see, we are tapped into what they call the ethers, or the Akashic records, meaning us as melanated beings, we can naturally step outside and get information from the sun. This is why you see hieroglyphs of Nefertiti and Akhenaten, King Tut Akhenaten, receiving the Ankh, or the key of life, through the sun, or songs, what they converted to psalms in the Bible. Songs of Ra, songs of Amen, meaning we had devices that, just like you can listen to 92.3 The Beat, well, we had devices to where we could listen to what they call the Most High's radio station. And so we're getting transmissions and radio stations from what they would say, let's say, example, Orion's Belt, Sirius Dog System. Coincidentally, what is the satellite radio station that they use today to play radio? Sirius Satellite Radio.
Yep.
And do they spell it Sirius, Serious? No, they spell it like we see on the screen, Sirius. Whether it's Osiris, the Cyrus, the eye, all-seeing eye, or Sirius, representing the Sirius dog star, the Canis Major. And what is God spelled right to left? Dog.
God, yeah.
There you go. The great dog constellation. So once again, when people say they believe in God, the majority, you ask them what is that? And they'll start spatting off a book, instead of understanding that it all is going to go in reference to the stars. We have to look up, but they want us on the computer, the cell phones, going to the cell phones for answers, going to the Black Mirror, like Analyzer says, for the answer, instead of going within, activating our pyramid temple, which is an antenna to the most high planets, or most high motherships, or what they call the gods. And that's the messages that you're supposed to receive while you're here down on the lower plane today, what they call Earth. And so with the TVs and the radio and all these distractions, you're getting basically bull crap. You're getting messages that scrambled from theories from other people who most likely you never met. You're reading books telling you it's the word of God from people who you've never met, and you know that these books that they say is the word of God has been tampered with. Therefore, that the Bible cannot be it. It has to be you. It has to be your body. It has to be you and then us as a team, as a collective, y'all. We are the mothership. Together we form heaven. What we call, and then it, I believe, actually, I wouldn't say I know because I could look around and say that we can call that down, but we can do that here. We can do all that here. So what I'm saying is that our mind, our pineal gland, like Analyzer saying, the serpent kundalini spine that you see, once that's activated, you can receive information. And then you can create curriculums and education systems that are grander than the education system of the colonizer. And he knows when you create those schools of thought, people will come from all over the world to hear you speak, to take your wife's, eat your wife's food, to hear this musician. But we keep giving away our culture, which is the wealth. And so you guys keep going, but I wanted everyone to see,
one of
the
blocking points, you know, on the knowledge is when we throw out names like the serpent, or we talk about the serpent energy is demonized, and then the certain sets will immediately, oh, that's witchcraft, oh, that's the occult, oh, that's of the devil, but they'll get in the same ambulance with it, with the serpent on the top.
Talk about it,
see what I'm saying? You don't understand that the coil is connecting your fiber optic internet. You know, you wear witchcraft. You got a watch, you got a dollar bill, you got witchcraft. You see what I'm saying? Because there's no knowledge, there's no understanding of the devices, of the technology, of the insect kingdom, the amphibian kingdom, the reptile kingdom. You know, there's no understanding. It's subliminal. It's symbolism. You know, and it's subliminals. But what they're doing is they're inverting it and making it evil. Like if it's black, it's bad. It's evil. It's a curse. It's a hex. It's witchcraft. And to someone who's plugged into the matrix, you know, and does not know, so many images come up. You know, like in one commercial, you see one picture, but then there's like 10,000 pixels. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So it's so much programming going on that we have to do so much deprogramming in order to start, you know, creating the database to receive new information, to receive downloads. That's why you have to go into meditation and place a storage in your subconscious so you can be able to get the new data, you know, and you can get some of this downloads that's coming from the sun, that's coming from these solar flares and igniting our DNA and waking up certain cellular structures, because they're keeping us in a cell. They're turning our population to batteries. We're batteries.
There you go.
You know, because we're powering the America dream. You know, we're powering their dream.
There you
what
go.
I'm saying?
There you go. And that's exactly what
and
it
you know,
is. Go ahead. The American dream.
No, I was gonna.
So go ahead. But basically, what I agree with too is the American dream is that it's a time spell. I like how I'm gonna give it to Lana, but basically, even the watch. I really like how you said that the watch is a witchcraft because it has you believing in a fake time that doesn't exist. And so you're over here doing things, watching the Super Bowl. That's not God's time or what you would call God. So everything we're doing is taking us further from where we're supposed to be, which is now.
And
so go ahead,
you know
Lana.
something interesting, brother? You said that.
I'm listening.
I thought about Michael Jackson, "Remember the Time," which
Yes.
is no clock. What no
Yes.
clock in there? You know what I'm saying?
Do
Throwing
you
out
remember?
subliminals.
Mm.
You know,
I
and
got
that's
that right here for you.
woo.
Michael
Yes,
Jackson.
I was
So,
gonna say,
go ahead.
I was gonna say real quick, out of experience, because I've actually went on a juice fast, and I think I juiced for like almost a year. I went on a raw diet, so anywho, when you get light like that and you get rid of those parasites, your body starts to talk to you, and you start to see whatever it is you need. You'll start to crave, Brussels sprouts or arugula, things that you never thought you eat before. You start to crave those things because of the nutrients and the vitamins that are in it that your body needs in order to continue to thrive. Meditate, you'll start to see things. You'll go different places. And like the brother was saying, he said, there's schools on different realms or different vibrations that were here. There's different schools. So some people will say, well, where'd you get that information from? Well, when you're vibrating on a higher frequency, you have ancestors that are giving you that information. So it doesn't have to come from a book. It's coming from me because I got the codes. You feel me? And I can't activate those codes if I'm not vibrating on a specific frequency. The ancestors won't give it to you. So you gotta want it. You know what I'm saying? We have to want this. And if we say out of our mouth it's hard, then guess what? You just programmed your cells to believe that it's hard. It's not hard. It's as hard as you think it is. So we have to change the way we think, and we have to change what we speak and say out of our mouth. And those two powerful things alone, you'd be surprised how to activate your DNA.
And what the sister said, something may have went over your heads, because this is a powerful observation. Those that eat badly get sick. Those that eat healthy, live better and have a healthier existence. Why is it called the RA diet? You ever think about that?
Okay.
The raw
I didn't
diet.
think of that. I did not, brother.
You
Wow.
see? You
Yes.
see what I'm saying? And it kind of ties into the experiments they were doing with water, and taking 2 samples of regular water and putting them inside of little plastic, containers. And on one, putting negative affirmations on it. I hate you. You disgust me. You're sick, and writing all of these bad statements on one bottle, and then on the other bottle, you're beautiful, you're pure, I love you, I love you. And then you freeze them, and then when you take them out, the bad one is all murky, it's dark, it's impure. And the other one had crystallized, it's crystals forming, it's all beautiful. And this was a real experiments done on the water.
His name is Dr. Masaru Emoto, y'all.
Yeah.
And right here, what Khalil is talking about is when you're speaking compassion, you see how it's crystal, thank you, wisdom. And then when it says heavy metal music, look underneath. Can you guys see it? Are you able to see that? Oh no, you guys, it's too,
I can't see it. I can't see it.
Okay. But basically it was showing everyone what Khalil was saying with the water changing through the frequency. There it goes. Is that a little better? There.
I still see the top part. I see the top part.
Okay. Let me see. Bear with me real quick, y'all.
But yeah, like I was saying, the raw frequency is it's power associated with that. You know, you're eating raw. I'm eating raw food. I'm eating raw vegetables. You know, you're eating supreme creator diet.
We were saying the water now. Can you see the picture now, y'all?
Yeah.
You
I
see how it says the compassion when it says thank you, wisdom, and then when you hear heavy metal or rap music of today, or when you say words, and what are we made up of mainly? We're water.
Water.
A supreme intelligence yet to be defined. Even when the God of their Bible arrived in this so-called matrix, it says in the Bible that their God hovered over the water. So we are made up of water, therefore we were here. Do you understand it now, y'all? That we are water? They just, this for me, this prison that they have us locked in, give us these so-called flesh suits. And that's the whole point of ascension, is becoming the light beings that we're born to be. And so when we parasite cleanse, when we're around the correct people, when we're eating healthy, vibrating in a correct society, imagine what we create. Imagine what we become. Because what are we becoming right now as a people? Lana and Analyzer, versus where we can be like this, and where is humanity headed? You know, when we look at this type of science. So Lana, what do you feel when you see that, like Analyzer was saying, the words we speak, like they say, matter, right? Words, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. That's not true. Words do hurt.
Right.
And so when we
They
speak to
create
each other,
worlds.
yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing with you. Words create worlds. They have frequencies and vibrations to them. Again, we're at of this, like I speak of, this is a frequency war. So that's why it's important that we have to monitor who we're around, what foods we're eating, what we're watching on TV, what we're listening to on the radio. Like, this is in game, what they call in game. So right now the enemy is just throwing it any way possible. So you got to be a soldier. We have to be soldiers and really pay attention to the weapons or devices that are being used, because they're going in on us right now.
And as we start,
always diving, going into the 9 ether frequency, going into the darkness. Before you even got here, you was in the darkness, going into the womb. Jason said, you have to, they put us in these suits. So when you go scuba diving, you put on a what? You put on a suit. And then you dive. And how come the further you dive down, the darker it gets? See what I'm saying? The darker you get. So just like these builds, you know, the knowledge is coming out. You know what I'm saying? And the authentic jewels, you get deeper, you know, more knowledge and wisdom and more pressure. And pressure makes diamonds. You know, that's why we have diamond bodies. You know what I'm saying? We got the crystalline diamond body. So when Jason said we're majority water, you know, now I see it. You should be able to see it, that who you're interacting with on a daily basis. Just imagine just water, you know, walking water. Remember them that cartoon about them beans, and they was just water and some was fire. You know, they were giving out all these little subliminal signs. You know what I'm saying? About these kingdoms that all existed together. You know what I'm saying? And we have different races of beings, and we're all, you know, we all like intermingle, but just having solid fire, solid water, solid crystal, and seeing ourselves as masters, seeing ourselves as, you know, higher dimensional beings in our original forms. Because I tell you like this, the power of social media, the power of the internet, you know, you can't, you're only going by what the two eyes, what you're seeing in your two eyes, but this is taking place, it's taking place in consciousness right now, you know. We are walking on a higher level frequency right now, even in this having this bill, you know.
I like how you said different classes, how we're going to, and let's compare it to society. They put us in classes in school, right?
Yeah.
First grade classes, and then classes of wealth, you know. But like you said, it's time to graduate to a different class of the mind.
Yes.
That's where the class is. A wealthy person isn't the one who just has the fancy car and all the money. That's what the enemy is going to get. That's why the wealthiest people you learn are usually shady as F, you know. And then super poor people need to fix themselves. It's the balance of my yacht. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
There's a
Being
difference
wealthy,
between being rich and wealthy, though. There's a difference between being rich and wealthy.
and there you go. So when we take it to the class, I like how you said that. Brother Charles Ross a while ago was talking about that when we were talking about the education system, how they divided us into classes, colors, race, religion, all these things, animal, plant. And now scientists are revealing that plants talk to each other. And so that means that plants hear us and they can listen to us and they communicate what you say. There you go. So just as we speak to ourselves, everything is listening. And so if we're in an education system that teaches us that we have a relationship with the water, that the plant is your friend, and instead of just telling us in school that all that plant is this, no, what's the spiritual aspect? What do the ancestors say that is for? Because we know that you have stolen the books of teaching us about the herbs. They just got out of the caves, so we gave them those books. You understand? So imagine all the other books that are missing, but also that we have to, basically stand under the sun, eat healthy, and eat certain foods to get the information on what to do. To tap into the crystals, which are living beings, y'all. So when they teach us in school or religions that the crystals, when you get in contact with them, that's demonic or bad, no. These are living beings that you can get information from. The crystals run your computers. Same thing with a plant, a dog, a cat. When you're vibrating on a certain frequency, you can communicate with an animal, and that animal can give you information. But if we
are crystals,
there you go. We're made of gold. We're made of all these minerals. We're electrical conductors. We have metal, copper inside of us, gold inside of us, which is electrical conductors using water, antennas. So therefore, we're getting messages. That would mean that it takes like a millisecond for a message to come to us, a thought. And so there must be the thoughts that they've given us versus, like I was speaking of earlier, the higher radio station thoughts that come to us to teach us about the sacred geometry, which I teach that they're hiding from us, which we go to this. So they were saying when I was doing research, we can find these same symbols in the Americas, in Riverside County, Africa, Asia, Italy, Peru, and it's the symbol of Orion's belt. So once again, if our ancestors are leaving us clues, it would make sense for us to, like you said, Lana, every single day working on obtaining this ascension, because clearly this isn't it. You see why society's depressed. People wouldn't kill each other if they loved each other. People wouldn't put up with going to these institutions and playing these games if they understood these sciences. So clearly the world is depressed. The world is we're living in an insane world, y'all, to where being ignorant, stupid, and not knowing yourself, being bad, basically being tricked into thinking that this is the base reality and that this is the way to go, because they're erasing our memory of who we are in the past, which is already the future, which we'll get into next episodes of why they give us watches, why they give us the Super Bowl, why they give us Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and they give us these different artificial times to put a time loop on us to get us lost. Because where are we going when we dream, y'all? Have you ever looked at someone when they're asleep? They're somewhere else. And then you ask them and be like, oh, I just had a dream. So where are we then? Because that would mean we're somewhere else. And so now scientists are starting to break that down, like you were speaking of Michael Jackson. Remember the time. The only person to ever show us in a movie-like setting or music video of that level was Michael Jackson. And he was displaying the Nefertiti, the so-called black woman, the Nubian woman, running things, do this, do that. So he was trying to please his wife. So that gets into another story. And then it showed Michael doing a move like the Tai Chi and then a dance with purpose. So now when you see our people twerking and break dancing and doing that, it's not for a purpose. It's maybe to show off or get money or to, of course, release your energy. But imagine back then when you dance, most likely you could disappear. It might activate something that you can do something magical. And that's what Michael Jackson was showing us. He was showing us the different magic within us. And once again, they had to cut off that frequency because they want you to basically get sick and die before you wake up to really what's going on. So you do not attain enough intelligence to pass on to higher levels and you get trapped here. So you guys go ahead.
Yeah, I actually I've seen people doing certain dances in indigenous cultures and tribes doing dances and controlling fire, controlling elements, and being in such synchronicity, you know, that they're able to actually to control elements and using that vibration and everybody chanting and in tune and saying the same thing. You know, now you think about moving pyramid blocks, you think about, you know, levitation, you know, you think about, you know, how whole tribes ascended, you know, because they wasn't bombarded by the level of the technology that we have. This level of bombardment is extraordinary, you know. How they're able to have these rays, this radiation, this microwave frequencies, and all of this stuff can be registered. You know, you can get the little device and register where the cell phone towers, wherever the cell phone towers are, and you can they was recording the amount of radiation they got by going to the corner store. So it is unreal. And like the brother said, that's why we have to ground. We have to get those ions, you know, in our system. You know, we have to get in metal nature and nature and realign, you know, rebalance, you know. And I was thinking insane in the membrane. I thought about Cypress Hill and the actual insanity inside of a membrane, you know, going back to the cells and going back to that water and getting that balance. I was going to bring up a powerful sister teacher, brother Akua Ma'at, who was building on the importance of water and speaking to the water and actually having a conversation with it before you digest it, taking it out of the plastic as soon as you go to the store and you get it from the store, removing it from the plastic and putting it in glass, you know, so those toxins don't go in your system. You know what I'm saying? So shout out Mad Love, Sister Kua Ma'at, you know, and Amasis Ma'at. These are two powerful teachers, you know, who've done so much, you know, for the culture. You know, it's just it's just amazing. But yeah, definitely getting on that level in the information highway, crossing paths. And
Have
here's
you seen the movie?
another
Go
thing real
ahead. Have you
quick.
seen Johnny Mnemonic? Have you
Yeah,
seen
I
this
see
movie?
it. I see it. But when we get to a certain level, when we raise our frequencies, the neural pathways, we cross paths with ancestors and the elders, you know, from the lineage, you know, just by how we're vibrating and how we're connecting. And you see the dolphin, you know, the one of the smartest on the planet, you know, and how they're able using that sonar, you know,
Yes,
and
music.
yeah, and
They have a language.
you know, our submarines, you know, mimic the dolphin technology.
Well, who do the Zulus teach us that the dolphins are our ancestors? You guys
Yeah.
look it up. They say we're related to dolphins. And once again, relating to the top of the show, the Dogon tribe of Mali, West Africa said they mixed in with these beings, aquatic beings. And the Zulus teach us that basically we use as extraterrestrial beings to create this avatar. We put the embryo inside of the dolphin, and the dolphin birthed us inside of the waters. And eventually we went from the waters to the land. So the dolphin, we are more related to what they call the monkey. That's the troglodytes. That's the European who's related to the Neanderthal and monkey more. We are related to the dinosaur, the dolphin, the stars. That's our direct connection. And so in the movie Johnny Mnemonic, they're showing you that they're able to, and the one Johnny Mnemonic, everyone watch that, is they're showing you what Elon Musk is doing and what they're going to be doing soon in the public, is that they're going to be able to take your dreams and put it on disc. They're going to be able to take your life and say, hey, we can record it and record you from 4th grade. We can pull that from your mind. All these various things, they're going to be able to attach your brain to computers and pull out your thoughts. And eventually, what people don't know, they're going to be able to sell your dreams and sell your reality, and people will be able to experience and watch you in real time.
Wait,
and so
aren't they already doing that? Don't they already have that with the meta glasses? I thought I saw that on the news where that people were going in an airport and it was showing their information on the screen, all their information, and only they were able to so-called see it.
there
But
you
it's
go.
like Delta Airlines, so that's already happening right now in the States.
Wow, because you were
There
saying
you go.
one of your relatives, they can use the glasses, and if someone's speaking another language, the glasses will interpret it for them.
My son went to Puerto Rico and he has the meta glasses, and so when he's walking, I don't know how it works. I'm sure you guys have the glasses, but it can translate for you. So if you're out of state or out of the country, I should say, and you're, you know, the primary language is French or Spanish, your glasses can translate for you. And they say there's a program or something like that that people either have access to or they're going to be able to have access to, where it gives people that are walking in front of you, you can read their whole information, their social, their bank account, where they live, their height, all that.
It's like a license plate when an officer can go behind your license plate and see your record, the same thing. So they already do that without telling us. Now they're basically saying we're going to release it to the public so you guys can spy on each other, just like the Salem witch hunts, right? In a sense, oh, he's doing this, I can judge him from that, telling on your neighbor and then telling them all your business on social media. Where are we going as a people? So when we look at the fact, like Lana's saying, they're gathering the data, but putting in their computers. But imagine when we're able to tap into the dolphin realm. And we know that we're related to the dolphin because a dolphin is not a fish. A dolphin is a mammal. But a lot of the times we think that all the animals in the ocean are fish. But really, a dolphin and a whale is a mammal. So we're related to those beings. So if the government is tapping in already, telling you in movies in the 90s that they're doing this, we know that they use dolphins underneath the ocean to detect bombs and all these different things. They use dolphins in birth. They actually stopped a certain island and a doctor doing it because women were giving birth assisted by dolphins, and the studies prove that all the babies were far more intelligent than any normal kid. So imagine our ancestors who were in the aquatic with Oshun. This is where we get the different deities like Oshun Marie, and different mermaid symbols like Little Mermaid, movies like The Sirens. You guys watch the TV show Sea Quest. On the top right, this dude committed suicide. He was also in the movie Ladybugs, where they had him dressed like a girl playing soccer. But in the show Sea Quest, the government had a special sea program, and they used dolphins. The dolphin talk. Basically, they had a device like the movie Congo had the talking gorilla. They did the same thing with the dolphin, and eventually the government discovered intelligent life underneath the ocean. So when the government reveals these things, people, what does that say? That means you've been wasting your time. You know, that means that the reality that they've been giving you, they're giving you piece by piece. So you're going to have to learn to, once again, go within, always clean ourselves out like we're speaking of, and dig into our history and our story, our mysteries, because there's a dolphin kingdom, there's a crystal kingdom, there's a plant kingdom, a herb kingdom. All these different realities exist within our culture, y'all, and they're using it and pimping it today to run their civilization. As we close out in these next 20 minutes.
Yeah,
so go ahead.
You know, if you got family members that got that dolphin head, you might want to like build with them. You know what I'm saying? Got that, you know, because you know,
for real though.
You seen them.
Yeah.
Shout out to the homie Dolphin Brain, but yeah, definitely what the brother was saying. There was videos showing dolphins moving in cadence and actually saving people from shark attacks.
I heard about that.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah, and I mean these beings are were so advanced. Even taking it back, remember that old school show Flipper?
Yeah. Look
Call
at
me
SeaWorld.
Flipper.
Yeah.
So if the European is able to get a dolphin and have it do flips, and they come out of the caves, correct? They come out of a cold climate, so they weren't around the ocean, lakes, and rivers like we were. So imagine what we did. You know what I mean? Imagine our communication with whales when we learn about the Samoans riding on the back of these, when we learn about certain African tribes riding on the back of seahorses, and they show us in the movies them riding on seahorses.
Oh, on Black Panther when they was connecting the Aztecs and they was riding on the whales. Yeah. And that was another example of Atlantis, showing the rising of Atlantis coming from the sea. You see what I'm saying? Coming back to the surface, because you're bringing this knowledge to the surface. So like I said, it's all subliminal. You know what I mean?
Real story. Just a couple of years ago, my daughter was craving the beach. She said, I got to go to the beach. So I took her to the beach, right? We got to the front of the beach, and all of a sudden, all these dolphins started coming towards the front where she was.
Wow.
I mean, it was like, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, are those sharks? I took a picture of it, and then you saw the sun ray. When I took a picture of her, the sun was beaming down on her, and you saw all these dolphins in the background.
Wow.
Coming forward to the very front of the beach. You know, my point is they know who the gods are. So the planet is waking up. That means the fish in the ocean are waking up and vibrating high. So they're calling you. We got to go talk to them. Go talk to the plants and the fruits and the vegetables. You feel me? They're alive.
And
Don't forget about them.
that's, I wanted to piggyback off that statement because to give an actual exercise, you know what I'm saying? That the insect kingdom, you know, the fish kingdom, they can see the gods, they can see the gods in us. But like the queen said, we got to raise our vibration, raise our energy, raise our chi, and go walk in the park, you know, go in a meditation, get your energy elevated, go on a walk, go on a trail, and see if insects don't come try to land on you. See if they swarming by you because they can see your aura, they can see your energy field. You know, go to the zoo, put your hand on the water, the aquarium, you know, or at home fish tank, you know, and just notice how they gravitate. They're gravitating because they can see, you know, what the human being can't see, and it's 5 sense perception. They can see the fields around us, you know, because everything is off of vibration. You're talking water, right? We're mostly water, so now we're dealing with a vibration when we're moving. You know, that sound hits you, you're already places you in a state of awareness. You know, so somebody speaking nothing, you know, it places you in a lower state. You know, somebody speaking higher. Now we're in a higher state of awareness, you know. So I mean, we're traveling, and we're just traveling through these dimensions right now. Nine ether frequency, higher beings, ancestors of the Dogons, you know, traveling through time, like Brother Elm Street said, moving through time right now, you know, with this holding this master frequency. And so now the DNA is waking, the codes, the ones and zeros, you know, these sequences, you know, are being activated right now, and it's coming out like her daughter, you know, a star being, you know, being exposed in the light of the Most High, you know, singled out, having an audience of dolphins, you see. And that's one thing the brother didn't mention, is that the school is not going to only be for humans. You see what I'm saying?
Speak on it. Say it. Say
you know,
it.
we're not only speaking of human schools, extraterrestrial schools. That means that we're going to align and be in classes with the masters, which I am already. You know what I'm saying? Not to brag or say any of that, but I'm already in classes with masters on higher dimensional realms, and you can too, just by elevating your frequency, you know, getting on that raw RA diet, you know, aligning, balancing, centering your energy, understanding these star maps is a zodiac and everything, and all the holy books. It's just tying back to our ancestry. You know what I'm saying? And everything is lining up, and we can have these experiences. You know, we can be back to Enoch, have visitations. You know, because they stolen the legacy, and then awaken our spirit molecule, you know, and get on levels, you know, research some of these near-death experiences, because a lot of people have them and they scared to talk about them. A lot of people been in hospitals, got sick, think they recovered and think they made it, and get out and never question if they really made it. Oh, I was so sick. Oh, I didn't know I was gonna make it. Oh, I got in a car accident, but I came out. I got out of it. Oh, I went in surgery. They put me under for 3 hours, and I magically came out. You see, you don't question the dimensions. You just automatically assume you're coming back in the same realm, dealing with the same holographic beings you was dealing with when you left that reality. You know, you go to sleep.
Ooh, that was deep.
Oh, I went to sleep, you know, for 8 hours. I checked out and I woke up and I'm in the same reality that I fell asleep in. You fell in the tomb.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, most
like
definitely.
interject on that. So that's why I talk about our sisters who go under the knife and get these builder bodies. I know you want to be in competition with each other, but when you're signing those contracts, y'all don't know what you're signing yourselves up for because we don't read those contracts. We just sign the dotted line. And when you go under the knife, you don't know what they're injecting in you because you can't be awake when they're doing that surgery. You're going to have to be asleep. So they're putting something in you. Most likely they're parasites. And remember, those parasites are highly intelligent and they get into your blood and your system, and now they have taken over and they control you. Hence the reason the majority, when you see folks or these females that are getting it done, they kind of have the same walk, the same mannerism. It's the same thing. Think about it. It's not an accident. So we have to be mindful, especially during these days, on how we're moving. Again, we have to consistently watch who we're around, what we're putting inside of us, what we're listening to. It's all parasites. It's parasite war. So I just wanted to say that. Yes.
No doubt. No doubt.
So you want to, so as we close it out, y'all, we spoke of the Dogon tribe and DOG. And remember, dog. It says dog right there. So the God tribe, the tribe that's connected to the dog Sirius star system. So these are codes. You see how they can use certain words to hide things, and just with one word, you look it up and it takes you to higher realms of thought because it's all in our minds, right? And like my goddess teaches, the gut, our second brain as well. And so as we study the science of ourselves, you know, when we say ancestors, let's say ourselves now. This is us. We're a global intergalactic civilization.
Yes,
The
yes.
good, bad, and the ugly. That's the whole point of us being here. We're improving, you know, headed towards the perfect geometry as you see our ancestors left us. So every day we can wake up and focus on a curriculum. The whole point of this is to capture the wealth again, because the reason our people are in poverty and going to work and we're worried about bills and all these things is because we don't study and live in our culture, and then we give it away and allow other people to pimp it and create industries off of our culture. So it is time. So the Sirius star is the brightest star in the night sky. Once again, we connected the Sirius satellite radio station and the spelling of it, connecting it with the satellite in real time radio station of where our ancestors point to, whether it's, they show you in the movie Men in Black, where the little gray inside of the human said Orion's belt. You remember? Or heaven, where the Bible says, excuse me, God comes from. Excuse me. So they say heaven, they say God sits on a seat in heaven. So if someone sits on a seat, that's either physical, and then heaven is a location. And so when we break down heaven to the original Oranos, Oranos is Orion. So that means when they're talking about the God of the Bible, this being comes from Orion's belt. Coincidentally, our ancestors throughout the planet say that a group, not just one, but a group of beings came down and landed in different crafts on this planet on different land masses, and it's documented. And so it's time for us to no longer just like in the religions, if you're believing in the Bible and stuff, well, it's talking about extraterrestrial visitation.
Yes.
It's talking about giants. It's talking about spaceships. It's talking about people going up in a whirlwind. It's the same thing. Intergalactic Star Wars. Start thinking, when you read the Bible, start thinking of it as Star Wars, intergalactic. not as they show you with people in a manger and huts and sand and just doing nothing. When they talk about Moses came and took the Pharaoh's rod or something, and the Pharaoh's like, man, I'll get my magicians and they're performing magic. What part of the Bible do you believe in? Because is that part real to you? Because then it's saying that there's people who had advanced technology and advanced knowledge to make things shapeshift, meaning that they could change the molecular structure of atoms and photons, because that's all these things are. So I'm pretty sure that once you get to a level of love and understanding too, you can manipulate light, which is any object, right? And then I was studying the Dogon, you guys, and then I came upon this right here in the movie Harry Potter. The wizard, he was like the last of the full bloodline of wizards, and Harry Potter was his godson, and his name was Sirius Black. And so for me, that was a code to where I said, man, they're even saying in Harry Potter that the gods, the highest wizards, Sirius, and they're black. The black gods are the deities, us, that came down. So once again, these books, Black History Month, from segregation to integration. So us realizing that the NBA, the NFL, the MLB, all these entities and leagues are owned by the people who colonized you. Regardless if our people now have a small percentage, they do not own the teams and they do not own the leagues, yet they use black men to make billions and trillions of dollars daily. So where the NFL and NBA and the MLB should have to give tithes to every single neighborhood where these brothers come from. 10% of all this needs to go to building up these communities. Why hasn't that happened? It's because they don't care about our people. They just use us and look at us still as slaves. And they give some of us money who are the entertainers, $300 million, $1 million contract, $800 million to play baseball. Meanwhile, a teacher, 100,000, 50,000, 40,000. Meanwhile, people are just working and looking to these entertainers because they get paid by those who colonize us, and we celebrate it. Just like we summed up today. Every black person became conscious after the Kendrick Lamar thing. Like it was a victory for our people, but they just made billions of dollars. And did that go back? Did that fund go to our community? No. So therefore, it is a form of slavery because we're keeping their world alive, like Analyzer said. We're living in their dream, which is truly our nightmare, but we've been conditioned to think that this reality is normal. And so I wanted to show more of the Harlem Globetrotters. We had Doug Williams. I thought that was cool. The first black quarterback to win the Super Bowl. Last name was Williams, and he played for the Redskins. That wasn't a coincidence, right? So the Washington Commanders now have a quarterback from San Bernardino, the Inland Empire, and he's taking them to next levels once again. So the Washington Commanders are the Redskins where the brother won the first Super Bowl. So once again, I'm telling you all, it's all scripted. And then the planes falling out the sky because like Ashraf Kwesi said, soon they don't want you to travel to the pyramids. Black people over here partying and dancing and can't save up $5,000 to $10,000 to go to the pyramids. As I'm telling you, if you don't go to the pyramids before they shut it down, you're not going to have enough information. And this is why I'm telling y'all, they give these fake celebrities and they give people these YouTube followers and Facebook followers and make people famous to take away from the source, the true guys who actually took the pilgrimages to these lands, risking our lives by themselves with no freaking YouTube, and studied with these cultures. You feel me? So we're giving you the raw, like Khalil, the analyzer, said, the raw, the RA, raw, like the sun in the
raw.
R-A-W.
Yeah.
Raw, like Lana teaches us.
R-A-W.
You feel me?
Ooh, baby, I like it raw.
Ew, an old dirty bastard. What did he say? He called himself what before they killed him? Baby Osiris. And who is old dirty bastard? The Wu-Tang. And what is the Wu? The womb man, because we come from the Wu. But they showed Jada Pinkett in Wu as an angry segment materialistic sister. So Wu and old dirty bastard said that he comes from the original people of New York, and that is unique Manhattan for trinkets.
OTV.
And they murdered old dirty bastard of the Wu-Tang Clan, and all of a sudden you see the brothers on TV now. They're doing all this metrosexual stuff. I'm not dropping names, but they had to have a sacrifice as well. They had to get rid of old dirty bastard since my goddess said, ooh, baby, I like it raw. So San Diego County. So now we see jets going down. We're at war, ladies and gentlemen. A war over our minds, but we're not at war. They are. And so I guess we are at war with ourselves, but we're cleansing ourselves. Just like others are trying to cleanse them out. It's time for us to focus on ourselves, building up our community, set fire to these parasites, right? And because I want to see this movie on Friday, Captain America comes out in Black History Month, y'all. So who's going to have to save the day? It's us. Captain America, the god with the wings, Heru, where you get the word hero from. Because truly we are the super heroes, the super heroes. We are the gods who always come. They use us in the wars, don't they? They teach us how they use us in all their wars and all that stuff. Because we are the captains of Amaruka, America. This is truly our land. And that's why we have to study ourselves. And that's why I would say we celebrate the fact that Donald Trump wants to change it to the Gulf of America, because it leads us to being the captains of America. And in the back, I find it coincident we're dealing with a president that is like an Incredible Hulk type of fake person in a different color. So I'm interested what that movie's talking about, y'all.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't make them orange. They didn't want it to jump out too much.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
That's what I was thinking.
Subliminal.
Yeah. And a war against us. So that's what I see, you know, because that's what we're dealing with. Is he going to sell out? Is there a brother who looks like us who sells out in the movie? You know, it comes out Friday, y'all. Let's do a decoding of Captain America. And as we end it, watch the movie Soul of the Game, where it talks about Satchel Paige, Rob Gibson, before the Jackie Robinsons and all this. And it showed the Negro League. We had our own stadiums. The Europeans took over our stadiums, y'all. They took over our stadiums and cities. We had the baseball leagues, but they couldn't compete in our leagues. They weren't talented enough. So through violence, through disease, and through murder, and through war, they took over our stadiums and leagues and lied about history and said that they were the original people of baseball. No, we created these games. So imagine when we take back our ball games, quit playing their ball games, unless we're making an economic gain as a collective. We no longer can look at ourselves as individuals. Every other group of people move as a collective. I don't care if you have a so-called European, Mexican friend, Asian friend that you chill with and stuff at work. At the end of the day, their people move as a unit. And we don't. And that's how they're able to capitalize off of us, through separation, through division. And so UFO sightings. No. Is it a UFO sighting, Lana? Are they dropping parasites? Lana, did you want to end and speak on that real quick on outside of a rocket, what they're possibly spraying with nanobites that we're not able to see, or they're not admitting to, that they might say, yo, Tesla was spraying nanobites that whole time. That's why they don't want Tesla and Elon Musk to be investigated. So when they're saying that Elon Musk is pointing out things where the government has spent the money, yes, we get that. But when it comes to educational research, that's a problem. And so we want to investigate Elon Musk. Where did you get your money from? Because we know that you get all your money from the Congo and your parents in South Africa, apartheid, coal mining. But who are you? And then they're using the Dogecoin to infiltrate the Americans' private security systems or social security. But are they just after the regular us people? Are they after, like Lana was saying, the people who are corrupt? And are they going to get exposed? And that's a celebration, because I like it when I see European men going to war with each other, because that's what happens when their world ends. This is our time to come together and strengthen and come together like Voltron. It's like you see the Doge announces cancellation of almost 900 million in the Department of Education, y'all. That's $1 billion already cut in education. And like I teach our people might celebrate it, but Black people, they don't have money to open up private schools and charters and pay for tutoring and all that. Other races do. They'll be fine because they have businesses. They can teach their kids a trade and they can make money. And all they need to do is have guns and self-defense and food. They don't need to send their kids to school. And they're not going to teach most of their children that you're God and that you come from extraterrestrials, and that the Dogon tribe, the dog tribe of Sirius constellation, taught a group of original people, you know. So that's where we are today here at What is the Matrix TV. And as we show higher learning, it's time to get to a level of higher learning, y'all. And as we are in so-called Black History Month, we're going to get rid of our parasites, you know, and they're in the faculty, like Lana was saying, like Khalil the Analyzer was saying. Watch the movie The Faculty, and it'll show you how it could be your friend who's a parasite, your girlfriend, your mom, your neighbor. We're dealing with a civilization now, y'all, where it doesn't matter what color you are. Most people are infected with parasites. Some of us more than others.
They were saying those that got jabbed were kind of were turning into the picture that you were showing. You know what I'm saying? And not really going too deep, but that's that faculty was really manifested into this reality so much, you know, just by, you know, what we're eating, what we're putting in our systems, what we're allowing to be you know, inserted in our bloodstreams, you know, and how people can't control certain thought patterns, you know. How the Queen was saying earlier, some people did not have control over their own thoughts and emotional states, and not having the balance of the hemispheres. And when the hemispheres are unbalanced, that's when the most violence erupts, you know, in crowds. And when that violence erupts and create that energy, it's a feeding source, you know. So now it's a smorgasbord, you know. And now you have the parasitic beings that feed off of that energy and contaminating others, you know. It's just it's a ripple effect. But yeah, definitely, we have to work on ourselves. We have to clear these parasites. We have to do certain work. We have to work with crystals. We have to not demonize everything that we see, and because of our lack of knowledge, attribute it to something bad, something evil, if we have no understanding of the origins of it. You know what I'm saying? So we have to be able to expand our consciousness and our wisdom and our vibration in order to level up.
Yes, and love ourselves again, because they taught us to hate ourselves. You know, we don't want to be in our most organic state anymore. We're comfortable walking out the house, making ourselves up, makeup, lashes, hair, you know, nails. It's like, let's get back to our organic state again. It's going to take time because it's like an onion. You know, they teach this in psychology. You know, getting to the core of the onion is the objective, but you got to take some of the layers off because a lot of us can't handle the truth. So when you realize the truth, you realize you've been lied to. A lot of y'all gonna wake up mad. You know what I mean? So give yourself grace, and you know, it's just going back to loving ourselves again. Look yourself in the mirror. Tell yourself, write down 5 things about yourself that you like. That's the hardest thing for us to do, but work on that. That should be a homework assignment. Write down 5 things about yourself that you love about yourself. And then every day you wake up in the morning, you speak that into existence. That's where it starts with self-love. Once you start to love yourself, then you can start to love others. But this is a journey, and it's never ending, and healing is never ending. It's okay to cry, people. It's okay to cry. Let that shit out. You know, these energies, these parasites that we speak of, these are like energies. They taught us in Christianity that they're demons. So we're afraid of it. But if you don't balance those demons or diamonds out, those are what's going to take control. Those are the ones that are going to teach you that you should be in fear, blame, you know, lack of accountability. So what both of these kings are up here speaking of right now in reference to all of us unifying and coming together and just one day at a time. And that's pretty much the only thing you can do is just take it one day at a time and learn to love self again by simply speaking it, thinking it, and then working on changing your live it, changing your environment.
And then
So yeah, those are go ahead.
I definitely would say going into nature and letting out, like the sister's talking about release. Like suppression is where most of the sicknesses, you know, they come from. When you suppress things, you know, you don't let out frustration, you know, anger, resentment. You have to be able to you know, to alleviate and take the take the weight off. And medu nature, in nature, you know, in a surrounding where you can heal and you can actually align, balance, and center and raise your energy, so you can shift to higher states of awareness, you know, because there's if you're watching a good show, or if you're in, like, say you was watching a Super Bowl, or you was watching Super Bowl halftime show, and then you're in the middle of the show and then you just ran to the restroom and turn the light out and then cover your eyes, you'll see the programming will still be going on in the darkness. You know, when they're hypnotizing you and you're being bombarded, because we keep using the terms bombarded, it's what the technology is doing to you. Now, if you were able to break away from something that you're fully engaged in and go in a dark room and cover your eyes, you'll see the programming happening. It'll still be happening, because it takes a certain amount of minutes, you know, to actually like reset. You're being programmed. The subconscious is being programmed, and they're telling you what they want you to do. It's like that movie that came out in the 80s. You know, this guy had a certain he had these glasses. He put these glasses on, and all the signs, all the billboards and everything will say, obey, listen, eat this,
Oh wow.
sleep, stay asleep, don't wake up, don't ask questions. You see what I'm saying?
It's like they inject you with the parasites with the food, and then you watch TVs or the laptops programming.
Yeah, you're watching something, you see a flash of a burger, 30 seconds, and then you're just like, I just got hungry. I got to go get a slice
You
of
feel
pizza.
me?
Or I need to go get a burger now. You know what I'm
I
saying?
need some McDonald's. I don't know why I'm
Yeah,
craving
and
McDonald's.
it's not even your own thoughts.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's a parasite that's telling you to go get that. You know what I mean? But it has not been addressed. You see what I'm saying? Because that's how powerful the subliminal programming is. It is so, the technology is so beyond. If you got an iPhone 15, just know the government has iPhone 86. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Beyond, these cats, they are not playing. That this technology is not a joke. And when your children are watching it, it's just it's so much programming, and it's so fast. That's why they're everything is rush. I want it now. I got to get this now. I see something, I want to buy it now. And some of us, like my generation, I wasn't raised on this technology. I never had like a cell phone. I don't go that far back, but we know we had the flip phones and things like that. But this fast and this speed, this accelerated, it's hard to meditate. It's hard to find 5 minutes to be still. It's really hard, to be spiritual, because in order to do it, you have to do certain rituals, to get yourself back in alignment. You see what I'm saying? Because 100 people are doing 100 different things and believe 100 different things. You know what I'm saying? And that's the whole goal. Going nowhere, going off of a cliff. Don't even understand that they're being bombarded. They don't even understand, that they're looking into a black mirror. Because they don't know the origins of black mirrors. They see people on screen moving around, and a lot of these people in their movies, died. You see what I'm saying? So you're watching Ghost, but yet you're into the puppetry. You see what I'm saying? So we have to understand that the technology is older than the host. But our spiritual forms, we have immortal vessels, and this knowledge is coming in, and there is an awakening, and we have to use these downloads to elevate us and project us in a higher level of understanding, so that we can, get in these universities and use these modalities and these tools, and get this information from the Dogons and the ancestors, that left these clues for us. You know what I'm saying? And liberate our ourselves, But yeah, brethren, I didn't want to go too long.
Great information.
We can't hear.
Love it.
Can't hear.
So as you guys know, you tuned into What is the Matrix TV. I appreciate everyone staying in tune for this 2-hour special. You guys can check out my brother Khalil, the Analyzer, on Facebook. You can hit him up on Instagram. I have his name scrolling down the screen. And always know that we are not alone. Peace and love.
Peace and love.
On the West Coast, we like to ride on the West Coast. You are now
See
rocking
you guys next week. It's
Jason
Elm Street Williams,
Elm
Master of the Universe.
Don't forget the money, man.
I love America, but she's so dangerous, dangerous. I love America, but she's so dangerous. Somebody call her Superman, I am made of kryptonite. The bulls say it's chow time, what we about to eat tonight. What happened on Epstein Island, did it really take your life? I'm deeper than the ocean floor and higher than a satellite. Yes, I am an alchemist, I murder Rumpelstiltskin. Walk with no religion, it's the return of the ancient Egyptians. West Coast, California, my family is Riverside. Inland Empire, none of ain't a lullaby. This is where the gods dwell and a lot of mothers cry. You can feel the thunder cry. Choctaw Nation, future chief on the rise. From a different dimension, Star Trek Enterprise. I love America, but she's so dangerous, dangerous. I love America, but she's so dangerous, dangerous. Authentic jewels around my neck, dripping like King Tut. Pop locking on the pyramids, Scotty beat me up. I'm manifested as a god, I in my hieroglyph. Yes, I am so cold, I can swim in a lava pit. My father who art in heaven, returning in the mothership. Dropping missiles and bombs, sinking the devil's battleship. Roswell crashes, UFO flying saucers. I'm the rap Captain EO, call me the Sunwalker. I'm the rap Captain EO, call me the Sunwalker. I love America, but she's so dangerous, dangerous. I love America, but she's so dangerous. Rocking with Jason Elm Street. Peace to the God. Peace to the goddess. I love America, but she's so dangerous, dangerous. I love America, but she's so dangerous.
Be sure to respect the ancient relics. The ancient Egyptians were a magical people who built numerous beautiful, magnificent structures, like the world-famous pyramids and temples. No running inside. Scientists till this very day still do not know how the Egyptians built the pyramids.
I wonder, did aliens ever visit ancient Egypt?
Wow, look at that giant Egyptian statue. It looks just like you, Jason.
Thanks, Toby. You're a super cool friend. Imagine what the world would look like if I was the pharaoh.
Jason, you are daydreaming. Wake up.
Sorry, history got away from me.